He's Israeli. The Psul Holacha Charahima, right? He's Israeli. You made it with love or no? Are you sure? Otherwise, I don't want it. It was made with Ahava? Okay. Yeah, you did. Okay. You made it with lots of love, right? Everybody's good? Everybody here, yeah? My Franco? You hear me? He's in the Kiyam. I'm a little bit under the weather. Nobody should get nervous. It's because I took one of these vaccines for the flu. So they said I'm not going to be feeling well. And if you hear my voice in my throat, and and if you feel my head pounding, they told me that that's like the normal thing, that they put inside you the flu and you get sick. That's how it goes. But I'm saying there's nothing to be worried about. And anyways, I have the glass in front, and they're all protected from this glass. Okay? All right. But because I'm not feeling well, so we have to have like an easy day, Yeah. It's koyach for like, it has to be a little bit easier today, because I'm not feeling so well. So you have to give me a rachmanis, no? What do you say, Nussi? A little bit, right? A little rachman? What? You can't. All right, so I'm going to tell you some stories today and some cases, and we'll try to figure out what's going on because I'm not feeling well. I mentioned that already, right? Okay. So an old man asked me a shayla like this. The old people are wonderful. Wonderful. By the Goyim, they just get closer to the caver. By us, they have so much Messiah and so much. But the Goyim, the old man asked me like this. He asked me, is my umbrella muksa? He wants to know if his umbrella is muksa. What's his umbrella? An umbrella, kipshuta, is a regular, good old-fashioned klishim lachta le'isser, which is mutter l'tzarech gufa l'tzarech mekaymai. What's an umbrella? An umbrella is something, are you allowed to open an umbrella on Shabbos? No. Mitzvah Shem will learn why, but you're not. Okay. So an umbrella is a kli whose function is to do an isser. So therefore she's a kli shemlachta l'isser. If the umbrella was needed in order to reach something that you cannot reach, it would be a kli shemlachta l'isser l'tzarech gufa. If the umbrella was in a way, which is a very common thing for an umbrella, to be blocking, you can trip over an umbrella. How many people tripped over umbrellas? It's a normal thing. So if an umbrella is blocking, or umbrella is in the middle of the road over there, so that's a kli shemlachta l'isser l'tzarech mekayma. You can move it because it's ruining the market. Okay. His question is, he says, look, he has this umbrella. He says he doesn't like that people should think he's an old man. He doesn't want people to think he's an old man. Right? So what does he do? So instead of having a walking stick, he uses an umbrella. Right? He said he doesn't use the umbrella outside because that's a little bit, weird. He's going to walk outside holding an umbrella. He said, but in the house, he walks around, and that's his walking stick in the house. He's not holding it by using a umbrella. Sorry, slow. Well, you guys always fight. I told you I'm not feeling well. What? They don't understand. He also does. Wait, you don't even know the story. You're all fighting with me. I'm not even feeling well. I'm not feeling well. This is how they treat me. What did I do to them? I didn't even say the story yet. Right? He tells me the Brisker Rav. The Brisker Rav walked around with an umbrella. Okay? Maybe he was afraid it was going to rain. What's the raya? I mean, I don't know. What? The Vardikers would walk around with umbrellas so that they should look weird. They did it in the times when it was not going to rain. They would listen to the weather report and they would hear it's not going to rain today, right? So they would, what? Yeah, okay, but this guy's not weird. He's got his, he's an old man. Leave him alone, the poor guy. So he walks around with an umbrella in the house because he doesn't want that everybody should think he's an old man. So, so he wanted to know, is there a problem with his umbrella? No, so you ready? You know what I'm going to say? Okay, so he's using the umbrella. It's a klishim l'achta yisr. The tzarech gufay. Oh, but he says, okay, Gavaldik, I'm so happy to hear that. And as I'm walking away from him, I realized, wait a minute. But the Mishnah Berurah says that if you have a different kli, then you're supposed to use a different kli. But he can't find some other kli to walk around with. He can't find something else, like his cane, like the cane that he uses when he walks outside. What? I don't know. You guys, everybody's fighting me. I didn't even start yet. I tell you, I'm not feeling well. Also, I told you already. I'm not feeling so. But I told you why, because of the shot. It also hurts, the shot. She said, it's not going to hurt. It's not going to hurt you. The whole thing is already blown up like this. Okay. So you have to try to get a different kli, but we have not a problem. Let's go further. We'll come back to this. All these things we have to talk about, right? You have to behave today. That's the I'll throw you out of here. You have to behave today. So we have to come back to this. It's a klishim lachta the itzer. I have the option of using a cane. He doesn't want to use a cane because he's embarrassed to use a cane. Okay, maybe that's enough of a reason. We'll have to see. Maybe. Okay, but then there's another issue here. Sometimes his wife, he doesn't want she doesn't like, okay, you see what's going on already over here. You imagine like 92-year-old people with shalom bayis issues. You think after 85, 86, it ends. It doesn't end, okay? So, so she doesn't like the whole umbrella matzav. You got the matzav, just take a cane. You're an old man anyways, and that's it. She doesn't like the cane. So every time she sees the umbrella, she hides it from him. So he asked me like this, this is an old story, but I've been saving it till I learn books. Is he being machshol, right, his wife, that she's going to be moving around the cane, and it's not a tzarech gufay, and it's not a tzarech mekayma, it's not the mokim, right, and it's certainly not a tzarech of the guf, right? So this already, what's this? It's not chamel, it's sel. What is this? This is like, what in the world is this? It's not chama, it's not sel, it's not gufa, it's not mekayma. What is it? It's tzarech. What is it? I don't even know what it is. What? What do you say? Where's Rabbi Adler? Where'd he go? You made me a good thing. You could feel the love in it. What? Shalom bayis. Not shalom bayis. She's trying to ruin the shalom bayis. It's a shame. What is it? I don't even know what it is. Is this for Falcon help us over here? This is a tzarech Shabbos. No, but it's not the tzarech Chol either. What is it? It's a tzarech of just. It's. What is this? I don't know this. What is this? I don't even know what this is. No. So I see that all of you also don't know. No, I wish you don't know. You don't know. No, but Kallus kind of stuff. No, you know. So you give a share. Also, Mr. Kallus. No, you know. You don't know. You don't. You know. You don't. You do? So I tell you like this, I don't know. But let's go back to maybe, who says this umbrella is a klishim machtal yaseh b'chlal? Right? Who says the umbrella is a klishim machtal yaseh b'chlal? He walks around with the umbrella, uses it as a walking stick, right? But he only uses it as a walking stick in the house. But how often does it rain? Yeah. So what is this thing? Who cares what you bought it for? We want to know what it's oimid for. What's it oimid for? If you ask him, what's this thing oimid for? That's a stecken, right? If you ask her, what's it oimid for? It's an umbrella. But who cares what she says? He owns it. He owns her, right? Who cares, right? So I don't know. So maybe this fellow is a klish maktal yater. If it's a klish maktal yater, no, what's the difference? Why is that b'chlal considered that he's not being machshel her b'chlal? Okay, but we'll come back to this. That's what I want to do today. I want to open up some of the sugyas over here. It's a klishim lachta heter, and therefore if his wife puts it away, nishkefel. I would wonder if you would actually consider this thing to be a klishim lachta yeser, and she's taking it away from him. Like that, how exactly we would view this thing. I would wonder what we would view it. I would wonder how we'd view it. Okay. Obviously, for him to use it and walk around, it's tzarech gufay. But then again, we have to figure this out with the Mishnah Berurah. If he has a different eifin, if he has a different option of a stick, of a stecken, so would that be considered a kliyacher? And like the item is saying, maybe it's not called a kliyacher because he has busha and he doesn't want to use a stick. Okay, what? His what? She should hide the real stick. His wife's they're not on board. She got on board. Okay. Let me get weiter. Okay, now, let me say over a few halachas. Okay? What goes into tzarech? What goes into tzarech? Obviously, the tzarech of a different Jew, that's okay. We have kli, we have malachta, we have iser. Now let's talk about what's at tzarech. Obviously, we're going to build up to a lot of stuff there. So, obviously, to help out nachayid, That's the Kli Shemachta Yisr. It's Tzarech. Tzarech of you. You're not the only person in this world. Right? Adam le'niver Ella l'sanig al Hashem, but also Ella l'hoyel lachrini. Reb Chaim Volozhin used to say, to help somebody else. So that's your whole tachlis. Listen, the echo. I think you should move the seat over. No, I love you. You know how much I love you and your newfound daughter. But it's the echo gets. I don't know why. It's right by the door. I think that's right. Maybe if you sit right next to me, it'd be better. You want to sit right next to me? Remember in school who they used to put right next to the teacher? Because it only in right. I think Akapanim. The Rabbi used to say it's because I love you so much, Shvagala. It wasn't real. It wasn't. Akapanim. A tzarech is obviously a different Jew is included in tzarech. Klishim lachli iser. The tzarech, another Jew, that's also called a tzarech. That's pasha, right? Now we'll have to see. What if the Jew wants to borrow in a kli shemlachli iser to do an iser? There's nothing to discuss. You can't anyways be Messiah. But let's say he wants to borrow a hammer for after Shabbos. Is that a tzarech gufay? Because I'm giving him the hammer right now. It's a usage of a hashala, of a lending. So obviously it's all these shilas are like these nice shilas you could write shticklich about, but they're not negeya because how's he going to take the hammer, right? And what about hachana and whatever? Okay, so we'll have to see a little bit more of a normal case in a moment. But the vaila, if he comes to the house, he says, I can't get my window open in a way where it's not bayin. Like our case, these windows over here, and you have to pry it open with a hammer, and it's mutter, it's not mitzad chil Shabbos. So can I borrow your hammer? That's a kli shemachta yisr. Let's tzarech gufay. What has to be your tzarech gifts? Chazad bal gaiva. It could be somebody else's too. That's kli shemachta yisr. What's my etter when I'm picking it up and giving it? Interesting. That's the gufay of what? What's the gufay? The gufa is that he could use it, or whatever, I don't know what, but it's mutter. You all know that. Okay, that's one case. What about kli shemachta yisr l'tzayrech a behema? A kli shemachta yisr for the usage of a behema. What would be a case? So it's interesting. This l'chayr is m'furish Shulchan Aruch. It's l'chayr m'furish Shulchan Aruch in Siman Shin Chav Daled. This is interesting. Shulchan Aruch over there is talking all about hilchos animals and how to be making animal fodder and all types of things on Shabbos. So it says like this: you're not allowed on Shabbos to do boirer for your mule, for your cow, for your donkey. You're not allowed to do boirer and he's talking about a certain type of a sieve where you put inside the fodder and the zachin goes down. You're not allowed to do that. Ain koibrin kabah, whatever. You're not allowed to do this. But what do you get allowed to do? But you are allowed to take the food inside this sieve, this boirer monster. I don't know what this thing is, but it's a boirer monster for sure. You're allowed to take the food, the animal fodder, put it inside, because it's, that's the best way, and then bring it to the animal to feed the animal. You just can't shake it. And the chiddush of Shulchan Aruch is that even though one or two of the pebbles are going to fall out and whatever, so maybe it's boirer because it's ein miskavin and whatever, and therefore it's mutter. Mitzad hilchos boirer. That's a chiddush of the Shulchan Aruch. Wait, but derech agav, I see something in the Shulchan Aruch. What is this sieve? It's a bona fide 100% kli shemlachta yisr. It's a kli that you do isser with. And he's saying I could take the mites and the schmutz and whatever, I could put it, the animal fodder, and I could put it inside this thing, and I could bring it to the donkey. I could bring it to the cow. Why you're using a kli shemlachta yisr l'tzarech behema? So it says first in the Shulchan Aruch that a kli shemlachta yisr is mutter l'tzarech behema. I saw one say for mistapik. It's first in the Shulchan Aruch. Why is that a chiddush? Why is that a chiddush? Okay, I mean it's first of all, Stam, you get like a little bit of a hergish over here. They couldn't find anything else. Couldn't find the bucket. I mean, is this a kasha on the Mishnah Berurah? I don't know. I'll probably have this kasha that 500 or 600 times the next few shirim. But this one bothered me. Like, you couldn't find anything. Okay, so I have to deal with these kashas as we go along. But that's the first in the Shulchan Aruch that a kli shemlachta yisr is mutter tzarech behema. So you want to know what's the chiddush? I'll tell you chiddush. Is the kli shemlachta yisr mutter l'tzarech a goy? Right? Well, this is probably not such a politically correct statement, right? What's the case? So we have to be mechalik. Is the guy borrowing it to do malacha? That's what you're asking, Rabbi Hershov. Is he borrowing it to do malacha? Is he borrowing it because he has to pry open his window, which is mutter? But let's see. Let's see if it's mutter first. It's our guy. So listen to a Mishnah Berurah. On this we're very wealthy people because we have a Mishnah Berurah. Not on everything they have a Mishnah Berurah. Mishnah Berurah over here is talking about this dreadful minig, that they had some evil, dreadful minig. What was the minig? Mishnah Berurah says, Umikan Margalot, in the middle of Sivkat and Lamadal, very long Sivkat in the Mishnah Berurah. It's about 8 lines up. He says, actually, everybody's tfus is maybe not mine. Umikan Margalot bepumit inchi. Mutter letaltel ner This is why people think you can carry around a wax candle in order to lo yifazid haner, that the ner shouldn't get ruined, or to give to a goy, that the goy should light for himself. That's the case in Mishra. I'm giving a ner for the goy. The goy comes to my house. He says, can I borrow a candle so that I can go and light the candle? The normal case. So Mishra says, people think it's mutter. V'tayim hey. They are mistaken individuals. He agrees it's a klish makli. Remember we once had a shaila, what's a candle? A candle is something that just runs out. It's like a bar of soap. It just runs out. Is that a kli? So we said that from, you could have heard both ways. This Mishnah Brura is a raya that it's a kli. He says it's a kli because it has a certain surah and it has a certain form. It's going to run out. Doesn't matter, but it has its kli. It's halzach, it holds itself. So it's a kli shmach. But he says, but it's a kli shmach yeser. So it's only mutter, tzarech gufay, and tzarech mekaymai. He says in Mishnah Brura, he says, it's only when you need the makam of the kli, or tzarech hayisroya legufay shal hakli alishtamish b'yadavar amuter b'shabes, but not the guy. So this Mishnah Brura sounds like, listen to the words, tzarech hayisroya legufay shal kli adavar amuter b'shabes. So this Mishnah Brura is very aggressive. Mishnah Brura sounds like for a guy, is going to be aser even if it's a davar mutter b'Shabbos, right? Isn't that the diak Mishnah Brura? Mishnah Brura says it's mutter to give to a Yisrael who needs it for a davar a mutter b'Shabbos. He could have said it's only mutter for a davar a mutter b'Shabbos, and then that would be including the guy. If the guy would want to take the candle and the chleisnish, do something mutter with it. So this Mishnah Brura, first of all, just told us, Maton is talking in English, but what's the best? A guy is a behema. Yeah, what's the best? Weißt du, was steht in Mishnah Brura? That the tzrachim from a guy, tztaka is not as much as a cow. Klish machtal yeser, the tzarech Betsy's the cow, let's say, not the guy. Klish machtal yeser, the tzarech the cow. That's mutter. I guess maybe the pshat is, I don't know if it's for any cow. Maybe it's mezainas of a love. Maybe it's my cow. Maybe it's my cow, and maybe I have to feed it, so that becomes my tzarech. I don't know. We have to figure this out. Whatever the pshat does state. A behema, yeah. A goy, nine. And it's mashman the Mishnah Brura. I feel a goy, when the guy, you hear this, Maisa? I feel a guy, when the guy is doing something mutter with it. Even that's aser. So it's damn interesting. What's the pshat? Klish machtal yeser is also the tzarech goy. No, that means very okay, right? Guy comes to you, can I borrow, what's the guy you want to borrow? Let's see, what does he want to borrow? A hammer. You want to borrow a pen? What about a hammer, right? You want to borrow your lawn mower, right? So now it could be that anyways, we have shtikl bayat, because lawn mowers might be a kiss, and we have another bayat. Okay, we might have other bayat over here. Also, kalim shal Yisrael, you might have issues in mirlak. But a very simple thing. The guy comes to you and says, can I borrow your hammer? This is going to be very, very awkward, You're going to tell him, don't have one. No, there's that hammer right there. Hammer right there, right? Sorry? So I can't give it to him. He says, I don't come into people's houses because of COVID and things like that. I don't come into people's houses. Could you just give it to me? Sorry, we're not allowed. What? I don't lend because of COVID, right? No, but I have gloves and I have Alka Monster. What? Give him the gloves. I'm just saying, right away we're like, we have this like American goods kind. We want to help the guy. Yeah, we'd love to help you. Yeah, sure. Please don't kill us. Yeah, right. And and we'll give you the hammer. So does state that you are not permitted to give. What's the word? What's the lumdis? Why you're not? Everybody say, what's the lumdis? What's the lumdis? Why you're not allowed to give the guy klish machli yeser? So I got ahead my own chakira of what was lumdis, but then I found that there's achrayim that mamish say pshat and they have a machlekes. So I'll tell you what they say. You can make it into a chakira. I thought right away that Lefi the Mishnah Brura, he goes always with this idea of haksas das that we keep on seeing over here. So I thought maybe the pshat is that I was mekatzet das for shtamshes of Isser. Listen closely. Obviously, there'll be enough gemina of what I'm saying. I was mekatzet my das. Mishnah Brura told me already that I'm mekatzet my das from shtamshes of Isser, and I can't carry it. That's one for sure potential malach. Okay, in the Shmir Shabbos, in Perek Chaf, in the Orach of Aleph, he brings down, because you need a tzarech Shabbos, related to the rate that we said yesterday. As nothing starts without a tzarech Shabbos. So that's a second malach. That's why first malach says a guy, it's not negeya because he wants to be mishtamish with a davar iser. If he wants to be mishtamish iser, I'm makatza my das. A second malach, you'll see nafkaminas in a moment. Second malach is that forget das. It's pashit. It's not a tzarech Shabbos. The tzrachim of a guy are not tzrachim of a Shabbos. Well, whatever the guy is doing is not for Shabbos. He does it for Saturday. He doesn't do it for Shabbos. So it's a kli shemachta. It's only mutal tzarech Shabbos. It's not a tzarech Shabbos. A third malach was a big chiddush. I saw Rabbi Nissen Karela says a whole different malach. He says there's a marasayin. Interesting that we never find it's like a marasayin, but he says there's a marasayin. It's going to look like I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I'll be honest. It's going to look like you're giving it to him. He's doing biyor shlichus or something like that. That's what he says. What's a nafkamina? Nafkamina is like this. Let's say the guy came to me on Erev Shabbos, and he says to me, I'm going to need to borrow your hammer later, right? You say, fine, no problem. Come over later. No problem. It's no problem, right? So now when he comes over later and he says, you remember I asked you to borrow that hammer? You say, yeah, sure, no problem. So could you say now there was aksaz das? You knew that you were going to be lending him the hammer on Shabbos. So for that mahalach, we'll call it my mahalach. The Mishabura says that lashon aksaz das. So then it'll be taka. It'll come out that it's mutter. It'll come out it's mutter. There's no aksaz das. The Fira Shlomo Zalman is saying, which for sure you have to be chayshish for these things. He says it's only mutter tzarech Shabbos. It's not tzarech Shabbos. Whatever the guy does is tzarech Ivan. It's tzarech Saturday. It's nothing to do with Shabbos. So therefore it doesn't matter. The Chazal only gave a heter kishmat so it's tzarech Shabbos. Here that lumdus of tzarech Shabbos works against us. It becomes a chumrah. It's not a tzarech Shabbos. Right? It's a tzarech of chayil. For him, Saturday's chayil. That's one nafkamina. Another nafkamina will be, let's say like this. Let's say the guy wants to use it for a dvar heter. This is where you see what the psak is. Let's say the guy says, I need the hammer to pry open the window. Like we said, in the case where it's mutter. I keep saying that case because in our case, the window's mutter. Not every case is a mutter. But in our case, the prying open the window is mutter. I need the hammer to pry open the window. So then, if you learn the word of haksaz das, so he's not doing a davar aser. So there's no reason to say it's out of my das. It's aksaz das klapei dvar masurim, but he's not doing something that's aser, right? But if you learn that the word is that klisha machlayis is only mutter tzarech Shabbos, it's not a tzarech Shabbos. He's a guy. Or if you learn, let's say the marasayin, avada to marasayin. I don't know what this marasayin is, but it's avada marasayin. Right? We can think of another nafkamina that's a little bit more practical. Another nafkamina maybe. Another nafkamina is your wife is makabel Shabbos. She's not a guy, and you're not a guy, right? She says, your wife was Makabel Shabbos, and you need her to give you something, muksa. You need her to give you a klish machtal yeser, right? My perennial hammer, but you need her to give you the hammer. She's the only one that knows where this hammer is. Okay. So you say, where's the hammer with him? So could she give you a hammer? Let's say she was Makabel Shabbos, you were not Makabel Shabbos. You need the hammer to do an Isser. If you needed to do a heter, why not, right? It's Klishmach the Isser, but you need the hammer to pry open the window, right? And let's make it even in the case where it's like, you need her to stand on one side and hand you the hammer. Sorry, you want to do an Isser. Sorry. You want to do an Isser, but you need her to to hand it to you. You have to stand outside or something. These things can happen, right? Could she give you a klish Isser to do an Isser? What do you say to that? So what? Before Ben Ishmael said, but she was Makabel Shabbos. She was Makabel Shabbos. Oh yeah, for sure. She became Makabel Shabbos. She's Makabel Shabbos. So what do you say? She's Makabel Shabbos. Let's see. If you go with the word of Aksaz Das, she's for sure Makatza Das from anything that's aser, right? Any Pa'ula that's aser, she's Makatza Das. If you learn that the lamdus was it's a tzarech Shabbos, it's not a tzarech Shabbos, right? If you learn it's Maris Ayin, it might be mutter. Right? If you go with the Maris Ayin shot, so then no, why should it be mutter? I don't know. It's Maris. No, because she's a yid, so why should we? I don't know. I must tell you, I thought this case is aser. I don't know. I saw there a Shlomo Zalman over there in the Ashmir Shabbos. He has it sad. This case is mutter. I don't know why though. I don't know why. It's negay also. Your father comes for Yontif, you're keeping 1 day, he's keeping 2 days, and anybody for that matter, right? But my brain, that's what the case is, right? You're keeping 1 day, he's keeping 2 days. So he asks you ask him to give me a klishim lanchal yeser so that you could do an isser with it, Or more, wait a minute. Let's say you ask him, maybe we can make it even more aggressive. Let's say you ask him to do it, even to do a davar mutter. It's not tzarech Shabbos. Interesting, no? Even in the case of the wife and the husband, right? I asked my wife, give me the hammer so that I could pry open the window, right? And we're not keeping it open for Shabbos, whatever, right? We're doing it for right now. But maybe there, no. For her, it's Shabbos, but she's not around. I'm doing it for myself right now. For tzarech, I'm doing it right now for a tzarech of, I don't know, it's not even a tzarech Shabbos. It's a tzarech of Friday. It's interesting. I don't know why. That case sounds a big chiddush. I'm not feeling well, so I'm not going to go into this. Okay, let's continue. Good, everybody's clear? What? What comes out is like this. Behemoth, if it's your own behemoth mutter, I don't know if somebody else's behemoth is mutter. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm not, even though it's like a schmack to say, so go is I'll give you a behemoth, I don't know. Maybe the pshat is that if it's your goy, maybe that's also a different story, I don't know if it's true. I don't know. It could be it's your behemoth and that becomes your tzarech and therefore that's mutter. A goy, that is aser. And it sounds like it's aser to give a goy even when he wants to do a davar mutter. That's the diak in the Mishnah Berurah in Sivkot and Lamed Dalet. Legabe, if your wife asks you and she's Makabel Shabbos, or the case of the second day Yom Tov case, I would imagine that, I don't know, it's not a tzarech Shabbos. This is a big shaila. That's a shaila that you have to send to Chaim Kanievsky. That's a big shaila, right? That's a big shaila. You have to send it to the greatest man in the world. That's it. I don't know. So that's what we'll do. Chamshi, you want to start? You'll write it and I'll send it? I should write it? All right, okay. So we have to send to Chaim Kanievsky. I don't know the answer to that question. Where Zman, I didn't understand so much, so I don't know, because he had it's not even that it's mutter isser. So you see, I'm not fully understanding because I don't see how that could possibly be a tzad that you should enable in isser. I don't see how that could be mutter. What? It's a good catch. He's asking. The Mishnah Berurah always goes aksaz das. And he says, I'm makatze das, klape this. I'm makatze das, klape this, right? But I'm not makatze das, klape tzarek uf makayma. So why a guy? Why should it be that when I want to give something to a guy for a davar I'm mutter, right? So then this is where, again, we'll have to appreciate what we spoke about yesterday. Kanir tzarek ufay makayma. It's not exeris a kasev. It's the gufa he has to do. Chazal gave you. I don't know if this is the time of the crowd. And I don't know if this is now the getter of the takana. I don't know why. But it's in there that the getter of the matir is tzarech Shabbos. So without tzarech Shabbos, it doesn't even start. In other words, the ksaz das was, I'm mekatze my das, that this keli should be around, that I should be able to do dvarim amutarim on Shabbos. What extent? Maybe only gufa, maybe only mekom, I don't know. Okay? But I'm mekatze my das for Shabbos. Kivdachol, like Chazal came along and said that, you're allowed to use this item for Shabbos. But I comment that using it not for Shabbos, there's aksaz das copy that. It's a big chiddush. It's a very big chiddush. It's a big chiddush, but that's a diak in the Mishnah. This is an example of something that on my own I never would have said. Right? In Tzvar, I could have heard both ways. I might even hear the other way first. But the Mishnah Berurah says the tzarech Yisrael, right, to do a davar mutter. There's a lot of extra drops of ink in the Mishnah Berurah. He's obviously coming to impress upon you that the tzarech of a guy is not going to be permitted. Even a tzarech mutter. What? Right. Okay, but it's not a steer into yukin because when he adds that extra word of legufa shalkli l'shtamish bo adavar amuter b'shabbos, you can't move. What? No, but that when he fears shein muter tatakli elikishitarkum no. No, but it's a nitty gritty. It's a diak. I can talk to you after the not trying to shiva. I can find Mishnah Berurah is medir clear. What? Yeah. The yont which case? The parent case. So what does he say? He says it's mutter. Okay, it's the same type of shaila. It'll be the same type of shaila. Okay, that's the chayr. Okay, Rabbi Lieberman has this bike lock. Right? He has this bike lock. I could use your name or I shouldn't use your name? It doesn't matter. So Rabbi Lieberman has this bike lock that he locks the bike. He locks the bike with. No, there's his bike. His bike is a chesaron kiss. No. I'm not sure. It's a bike in case you wouldn't use it for anything else and you don't sit on it. I don't know. He has a bike. It has like one of those engine lock and does it. Yeah, so it has an engine. I don't know. You don't do that. You don't use that bike for anything else. It's ironic, right? Your electric bike or even a regular bike, maybe. That might be chesaron kiss and your car not. But based on what we spoke about, Right? It's not a kasha, but okay. I'm a subject. I think your bike is a chesaron kes. You don't think your bike's a chesaron kes? Well, because you do like wheelies on it and all types of stuff. I don't think that's a kaveya. That means you use the item to its fullest, but you'll still only use the item for itself. What? Will you use it for the fact that you would leave you're saying you're not miyachad and mokim, but I don't know. We have to learn chesaron kes already. I don't know. But 1 second, does he do anything else? Would you do anything else with your bike? You're saying, because by default, there's nothing else to do with it. You're saying, what? No, that's all part. No. Don't start. I'm not feeling well today. I told you I'm not feeling well. No. But what else is there? What could one possibly do with a bike that he's not going to do? Like, no, nobody sits on a bike because there's something called a wedgie. You know what that is? The English have that, or they don't have that, right? They don't have that. You imagine you're like giving yourself like a self-made wedgie. Who would want to do that all day long? Like just sit there on the bike. The bike is to get from point A to point B. That's it. Not more than that, right? No. What? Okay, so sometimes you see the guy has like 7 children on the bike. Okay, but they don't sit there. They have to get from point A to point B. It's like old Mother Hubbard thing. I mean, that's not, Okay, I don't know, but it's definitely at least a klish machla yeser. She might even be a chesaron kes. I guess when we get to chesaron kes, we'll have to come back to it. And he's basically telling me if I leave my mila knife out I'm not careful with it. Okay, I don't know. Maybe because that we'll have to see. Maybe makbid makoymai is not maybe it's a siman. Maybe it's not a siba. Okay, does anybody understand what I'm saying or no? Just think about what I'm saying. What? Okay, but I don't do anything. I also won't leave my safer outside. That's not a raya. I don't leave anything outside. What? I don't leave anything. I don't know. Okay, later. I don't know. Later. Okay. Anyways, we'll get the chesaron kes and we'll have to. But he has a bike lock. So what is a bike lock? What's a bike lock? It is oimid umiyuchad for this item. Do we all agree to that? In other words, it's oimid for the bike. Whatever the din of the bike is the din of the lock. Can we all agree to that? Okay. What? So I'm saying, but he uses it for his bike. He uses it. Yeah, it could be somebody else buys a bike lock. Some people lock up their bike. Some people lock up their baby carriage. Some people lock up their wife. Whatever each their own, right? But he uses it for his bike. So therefore, we agree that this bike lock, the most is now. She's probably not going to be a chesaron kes. Even if you make the bike into a chesaron kes, I don't know if that makes it that the bike lock becomes so tough that she becomes a chesaron kes. That I'm not convinced. Okay, so but right, I'm not convinced. But now we have to learn chesaron kes. You have to have a little amuna. What? I'm not convinced. I am not convinced because no, it's not. But let's talk about. We'll see his case in a moment. It wasn't done anyway. That's the whole bayah. Right? I'm not convinced because maybe the pshat is that there's a chelik of this hemshich of this kli which I would use for something else. I would technically use my bike lock, like Rabbi Sher is saying, to go and use it for something else. So therefore, but my point is, she's not going to be a kli shemalachta leheter. That's my point. She's not going to be a kli shemalachta leheter if she functions in services 99% of the time. His bike. Okay, I think we all agree to that. Is that correct? Just say yes. Yes. Okay. Now. Memela, he had his terrible mice on Shabbos. There was his bike, and he's walking to shul, and he sees Geval, and he said the bike is out over there, right? And what's going to be by the time he comes back, and it could be gone. He lives near Romaim over there. It could be there's people that live over there. Looters, could be looters, right? And he wants to go and he wants to lock the bike. He's not going to touch the bike itself. He's going to take the lock, and he's going to lock it up. Okay, can we allow him to do this on Shabbos? Can we allow him to do this on Shabbos? Let's see. This is a kli shel machta le'iser l'tzarech gufay shel bike. Shel bike. That's a tzarech of a muksa. It's a tzarech of a kli shel machta le'iser. It's like taking a bike and taking it. Let's say a bike will be a malachta le'iser. I'm not convinced, but let's say it'll be a malachta le'iser. Could we move the bike inside? No. Why? Because that's chamel itself. So can I move a kli shel machta le'iser l'tzarech weekday? That's what this is, right? Moving it to weekday. I think it's usher. I think to do such a thing is usher. Why do I say I think, and how come I can't tell you it's first? So I found a few things. I didn't find this mamish first. I found the Pri Megadim. In Shin Yud Aleph in the Eshel Avram Tezvav, he talks about a mace, Rachmana litzlan, and you want to put a piece of bread, a kikar, or this traumatized tinoik on the mace. So that is a whole sugya. Mitzvah Hashem, we're going to learn it. It's all sugya. Could you put something on a mace and move a mace? It's a special heter by a mace. Says the Prima Gadim. Listen to the Prima Gadim. Can I take a hammer and put it on the nifter and move the nifter? A kli, you can make a piece of bread. You can take a fork. You can take a kikar. You can take these things. Can I take a kli shemachtal yeser? What am I doing? I'm taking a kli shemachtal yeser. It's tzorech. That's a tzorech of an iser. He says, no way. That's not tzorech Shabbos. That's not tzorech of that's kli shemachtal yeser. It's tzorech the mace. Tzorech of the mace. Okay, so that's one example that we have. Kli shemachtal yeser, but that's a real moksa. That's a real moksa. What about kli shemachtal yeser in order to take a kli shemachtal yeser in order to move a kli shemachtal yeser, to do something kli shemachtal yeser? So the Shmir Shabbos I saw is Mesapik. He's Mesapik about this. I don't know what the suffix is. I don't know what the suffix is. What? I don't know what the suffix is. What's the suffix? Why is it a suffix? It's a kli shemachtal yeser. What? It's what's the tzarech gufay? Gufay means tzarech gufay we're seeing is maybe mekayma, maybe this, maybe that. Maybe we could stretch it more into Shabbos, but you have to be at tzarech Shabbos. You have to be in the Aleph base. If you're not even at tzarech Shabbos, then what's bisto? What are you? A tzarech of the bike? Das ist chamel etzel. Can I save the bike a lane? Was? Oh, the violin. Oh, so wait, I wanted to tell you what you're all saying over here. No. You're starting with me, and I'm not feeling well, right? You're going to take out. He's going to say, the whole entire Shabbos, I am going to be disturbed. The whole entire Shabbos. And today, with mental health and after COVID and everything, everybody's going to be very, very disturbed. So you can now, lefi that, the whole muksa is over. I mean, I shouldn't say the whole muksa. The whole Xeris Kalim is over. The whole Xeris Kalim is over. Kli shemachtal yeser is over. You have to be very careful, Rabbi said, because we're going to say a lot of cases, you have like this. You have a thing, there's a hammer on the table. It's not bothering anybody, meaning it's not bothering the makim. I don't need the makim. I don't need to use the hammer. We're going to talk about it, whatever. So they asked the greatest kohen who lived in the last 60 years, 50 years, Rabbi, right? They asked the melech of all of Kallus Yisrael this question. It was in, I don't have the sefer over here, but it was in those short shuvalach, right? I don't remember if it was in Chabez, in the short shuva, in the Chafei. It was in those little short shuvalach, okay? And they asked the greatest guy who lived, is certainly in American soil and certainly in the whole world in the last 50, 60 years. They asked him, Ramesha, but she's screaming Kavod Shabbos. She's screaming Kavod Shabbos. There's a hammer on the table, but it's not Kavod Shabbos, right? How can I leave this hammer on the table? It's not Kavod Shabbos. So they asked the guy, Rav Moshe, are you allowed to move this hammer? It's a kli shemachtal yeser. Let's tzarech what? Let's tzarech Kavod Shabbos. You know what the great Goyin answered back? He answered back, what did he answer? We have Rav Moshe? No. He said, "Das is go for Kavod Shabbos. Don't tell me that. None of your lakshin." Moshe wasn't writing. He wasn't writing it so nice. He says, "What do you do? Wait, we'll get to it. He was causing trouble over here." Kli shemachtal yeser. He says, "It's mutar tzarich mekaymai. Das is nicht tzarich of the makim." What is this? This is a kli shemachtal yeser that you're coming along and saying, "Kavod Shabbos." Who asked you for dein frumkeit? Gebeten for your frumkeit. If I'm telling you, you're telling me that for Kavod Shabbos, I'm telling you Kavod Shabbos says, "Lass doch the hammer over here, leave the hammer over here, and don't cause trouble." That's what Moshe says. Now, where do we go from here? That's what it says in the Igros Moshe. That's what it says in the Igros Moshe. Where do we go? Where do we go from here? What do I mean? What happens if she would have come to Rav Moshe and she wouldn't have been frum, right? Maybe they just asked the question in the wrong niggin, right? They shouldn't have said Kavod Shabbos. Maybe they should have asked Rav Moshe like this. I want to move the hammer because I can't sit in the table with the hammer. It makes me, I can't sit in the table with the hammer. Was? You are too from. Yeah? You're too from. Okay? I don't want to hear Kavod Shabbos because then you're giving Rav Moshe the Afsharias to say what? Das ist nicht Kavod Shabbos. Dus is Kavod Shabbos. Right? Take away the frumkeit a minute, right? A minute. Don't worry, we'll bring it back in a second. Yeah? But I want to know what happens if she would say like this. She would say, I can't take it. I just can't take it. I can't take it. having a Shabbos meal, but not else like, because Shabbos meal is supposed to have a certain surah, and you're ruining that surah. Not else covered of Shabbos and whatever. She said the words and she meant, but maybe she meant this. She meant, what? Wait, we're getting to OCD and have to be in order, CDO. We're getting there, 1 second, right? We're getting there. But, let's go in order. What would Rav Moshe have said in this case? Now, Rav, he told us, Tzarech Shabbos is enough. That's a Tzarech Shabbos. All she has to scream is the magic words, Kavod Shabbos and Kavod Chaimer, right? Kavod Chaimer. If she screams out the magic words, Kavod Shabbos. So now you see Rav Moshe is not like that. That's for sure. That you do see. You see that Rav Moshe is not like that. We'll have to see. There's other rayas, not like Rav. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have somebody who they like to play with things. Some people like to play with things. Those guys, I never knew how to do this. Those guys that could do it with the pen. So he's jealous of them. Who is in the kollel? Are the pen guys? Who ever do that? The pen and going around and then twisting it there and all that, with his finger locking his toes and does, right? Abi, you? What? No. Sure? No, I don't do that. I don't know. The guy that can do this, right? So let's say, and why does he do that? Because, it makes him calm. Let's say it makes him calm. Is he allowed to do that on Shabbos with a pen? Could you do that with a pen on Shabbos? Thus, what's a tzarech gufay? What's a tzarech gufay? The tzarech gufay of being calm, right? Well, let's say the case. I see you don't know how to do it. Explain that. The guy that can do it with a fork. No, he scratches himself. Knife, that could be mamish seconds as much as well. Okay, let's say there's no pens around. He was put in jail for Shabbos. He went to a Afghanai. He was put in jail for Shabbos, and all there is a pen. And he's very nervous. He's very nervous over there, especially there's a guy over there who keeps on looking at him and whatever, and he seems a little lonely. And he wants to, oh wait, I have a pen here. What am I doing with my finger? There you go. I can't do it. So he's going like this, Okay, so now this thing is it mutter? So there's an Aruch HaShulchan back in there. The Aruch HaShulchan in the 15th Sif, by Asen Simon Shin Chassi, he says, no, that's not mutter. Das ist nicht der Tzarech Gufay. No, that's not Tzarech Gufay. He says, we're going to talk in Mitzvah Shem about a klish malachtoi leheter, and that there are certain things you're allowed to do with a klish malachtoi leheter, and certain things you're not. He says, there I'll give in. Dayena, we don't understand maybe klish malachtoi leheter. We'll give in by klish, but by Tzarech Gufay, I don't know if I wrote his lashon. He says, no, that's not a Tzarech Gufay. That's not a Tzarech Gufay. Well, what's his vart? Why is it not a Tzarech Gufay? What's it on? So I guess, anybody know why? Was? I guess he's saying that the pshat is that, anybody want to say?
Yeah, sorry.
What? He got to learn Gufa Shaladam. The Aruch HaShulchan himself, Lishitasai, remember yesterday, thank you, Rabbi Chamshi reminded me, he got to learn Tzarech Gufa, meant the Tzarech Gufa of the mensch. V'afal Pikin, he says over here, no, das ist nicht the Tzarech Gufa. Why not? What? So we're gonna have to right? One thing you see clear. You see not like Rabbi Falk, right? That you see clear, right? As it's definitely a tzarech Shabbos. It's a tzarech right now. I'm saying it's definitely a tzarech right now. It's calming him down. The guy's looking at him. He's smiling at him. He's getting all nervous, right? What? No, he's nervous. He's very nervous, right? But or whatever. The guy is doing it for nerve. And I'm saying, so I'm just showing you that. Now watch. Don't worry. Am I confusing you yet? Not yet, right? Soon I'm going to try to in a minute. But watch. So far we're going slow. Right now, I don't even know where we got to over here because I'm just like, when I don't feel it, I don't prepare properly. But where are we? We started out. Where are we? So we started out with Rav Moshe. How did we get to Rav Moshe? Who remembers? Wait, slow. What? The bike lock. Oh, it's slow. Let's go slow. We're in the bike lock. We're in a Klisha Machla Yisr. The bike lock is a Klisha Machla Yisr, and we're trying to save the life of this bike. It doesn't look very good for the bike. It doesn't look very good because it's a Klisha Machla Yisr, l'tzarech gufay of the bike. So somebody came along. That's how this all started. And he said, but he's going to be the whole, where are you, violin? Yeah? There he is, Rabbi Chodi. But he's going to, the whole Shabbos, he's going to be distressed, right? He's going to be very, very distressed the whole Shabbos, right? Okay, so then we went in slowly. We have to learn what are you allowed to say in Klisha Malachta the Yisr and Sarah Gufa Mekayim and what you're not allowed to say. So we're getting a limit. Ramosha told us, don't you dare say Kavod Shabbos. I don't need your frumkeit. Give me a moment, let's make a gesikon. Don't you say Kavod Shabbos. That should be the frumkeit. Yeah? Be from in other things. Don't you bring from on Shabbos. Okay. So you're not going to say covered Shabbos. So fine, wait. So what if I change the niggin and I say, no, it's not out covered Shabbos. I don't care about Shabbos. I care that I don't want es nicht balabatisch. It's nicht heimisch. Jede Sache, was what we like is nicht heimisch. Yeah? So das nicht heimisch. It's nicht heimisch, okay? It's nicht heimisch. What's the merchant going to say? So you're heimisch? Bist a Litvak. Okay? What's he going to say? He's going to say, so you're heimisch? It's nicht heimisch. Yeah? So now that's our question. That's where we're holding. It's klish, malach b'liser. The makim tzarich heimishkeit. Am I allowed to move it? So now let's see. Let's see how much I can be marchiv the gvul and open up over here and see what's can sein. So now we're seeing that the Aruch HaShulchan is already sagar aleinu saderech. I'm not. There's no way you can't argue in Aruch HaShulchan in this type of thing. I mean, it's not like if you brought me a Mishabur, not like this. So we're going to go with the Aruch HaShulchan. He's telling me you're not going to be allowed to do things to calm your nerves. She says, what? What do you mean you can't do things to calm your nerves? What do you mean? That's a tzarech of the ish. The tzarech of the ish, no? Okay, so weiß the chayis nisheid tzarech is a tzarech, okay? So we're getting somewhere. We're getting somewhere. What? So we're going to get there. We're going to build it. I'm not feeling well, right? Slowly. So now, okay, tzarech of the ish has got to be a real tzarech. I don't know. I mean, tzarech usage, I don't know, like that. Not just to calm yourself down. But by the time after, we'll try and figure out how this all evolved. But right now, we have to do the math. This is the ingredients. The Aruch HaShulchan is telling us, then what? Let's go weiter. So now, where do we go from here? Let's go from here. I don't want to say that. Not that. That's too good. Okay. Comes again, Rabbi Kiva Eger. Kiva Eger. That's, chutz from the Goyim, the biggest person that lived, in the last 200, 300 years, Rabbi Kiva Eger. Right? Rabbi Kiva Eger says, unbelievable chiddush. I don't know why that a lot of the Achrayim don't bring this Rabbi Kiva Eger, but I have no reason to not paskin like this Rabbi Kiva Eger. I'm going to tell you now, unbelievable chiddush. Rabbi Kiva Eger says, if you want to give a present of a klish malachta le'isser on Shabbos, unbelievable chiddush. Rabbi Kiva Eger sneaks this in. It's not even by us in Shin Ches. It's like in Shin Vav over there by Matana. Yeah, sneaks this in. He says, if you want to give a klish malachta le'isser on Shabbos, you want to give you're coming for the Ufraf, and you want to tell him the first thing, that's you darf the hammer. Yeah, so looking to the Freu, where's the match? So you give him a hammer, does a hammer, it's a chayin. That's his one. Here's the hammer, right? And you give him a hammer. Rabbi Kiva Eger says that you can give the hammer on Shabbos. Oh, no one's using this hammer on Shabbos. This is a kli, shemlach le'isser, l'tzayrech, gufay. What's the gufay? The simcha on the chusin's face. The simcha on the chusin's upon him. This is a kli shemlach le'isser, l'tzayrech. He brings a raya from a simchas yontif. You could have learned it's only by simchas yontif to give simcha, but Shabbos is no simcha. No. He says, tzarech matana, that's a simcha. That's a usage. One of the cheftzes of the item is to bring simcha to somebody's face. You hear Zamaisa? That's a usage. What's the usage in it? I never would have dreamed this. I'm sure you would have dreamed this or not. Okay? Would I dreamed this? No. You wouldn't have dreamed it. Well, unbelievable. I'm picking it up with tzarech gufay. To get into the chusin. Oh, how's the chusin allowed to take it? That's an interesting kasha. It's an interesting kasha. I'm not feeling good. I would like to throw you out for that kasha. How'd the chusin take it? I guess so. Echanami, he's right. I never thought of it, but he's right. How did the chusin can't take it? He's right. You have to put it on the table, with the other presents. He's right. What? I know, but to give it to somebody else, that's pushing it. No, that's pushing it. You're making me not feel well. That's mom's pushing it. What? You are giving it. What? Wait, we didn't get the bike. One second. We're causing trouble for him. We didn't get the bike. What's going on with you? What? That's how we got into this, because the bike cases, he's going to feel distressed and whatever. I'm just going to show you, you got to be careful. You're going to, Rabbi say, if you start going with this, we know out there is this mahalach that Rafal did say, even though Rav Moshe doesn't seem to be like that, even though the Aruch HaShulchan seems to be not like that. The truth is, Rabbi say, the truth is, maybe Rabbi Kiva Eger is not like that, right? Why Rabbi Kiva Eger says, you know why it's mutter? Because it's a kli shemlach le'isser l'tzayrech simcha. And he brings a raya from a Tosfos, and he says, that's also called a tzarech gufay. He calls it tzarech gufay. It's a diak in Rabbi Akiva Eiger. It's not in the Londis Rabbi Akiva Eiger, it's in diak. Rabbi Akiva Eiger does gerifena tzarech gufay. Why does he call it a tzarech gufay? Why Rabbi Akiva Eiger call it a tzarech gufay? He should have said it's mutter because it's a tzarech Shabbos. It's going to make the guy happy. It's a diak in Rabbi Akiva Eiger. It sounds like that we're not going to be going with this mahalech that klish malach ben iser is going to be mutter for any tzorchei Shabbos, anything. It doesn't look like it's coming out so good. It doesn't look like it's coming out so good. But we are opening up the door to allow for, a much broader mekoimai, like I showed you yesterday, broader mekoimais, to be able to have tashmish in the room so you can take out the tefillin. We're broadening at least the mekoimai. We're broadening a little bit the gufais, That's what we're doing over here. But mitzad sheni, it doesn't seem to be. So Mamela, what's going to happen? Let's say Lefir Fal. So everyone's going to come along now, and he's going to say, I'm going to be thinking about it the whole Shabbos. Okay? I'm going to be thinking about it the whole entire Shabbos. Where do we draw the line, right? Where do we draw the line? Let's say, Rafal could tell you can move the hammer off the table because it's nicht taimish. And it's also for covered Shabbos. You don't have to come onto that. For covered Shabbos, Rafal lets you move the hammer off the table, which L'daiti is a big chiddush. It seems to be tzneget the pashtus apoiskin. That's what we're seeing over here. Okay. But what? But where are we going to draw the line? There has to be a place where we draw the line. What are we going to say? Everything I do for a reason. Obviously, not chamel itself. Obviously, not chamel itself, right? But everything I do that it doesn't bother me, right? That's what the Aruch HaShulchan is teaching us. The Aruch HaShulchan is teaching us to calm down. The Aruch HaShulchan is teaching us calm down. You can't, I'm doing it. That's a tzarech. Tzarech Shabbos has to be a certain level of tzarech of Shabbos. I don't know where Rafal's gvul was either. Unfortunately, he's in the Olam Emes. We can't ask him. I don't know what the gvul is. So be very careful with this. The bike lock. I'm going to be thinking about the bike lock the whole Shabbos. So that in every chamel etzel, you're going to be thinking about it the whole Shabbos. So every single chamel etzel, he's going to be shter. Nachon? Now you're sorry? I'm not feeling well also, So upon him, every single chamel etzel, he's worried about what's going to be with his hammer. The looters are here. So you see, that's not enough. Huh? That's the biggest raya. That's the biggest raya. That every single chamel etzel in the world, he's nervous. Afa Pikin Chazal say too bad. Because now we have to figure out in Lomdus, where is this misyachis to the pu'ula that I'm doing? Is it misyachis to the item that I'm saving the item? Or is it misyachis to a usage? Or is it misyachis to me? We have to figure all this out. But you're getting a little bit of a limit on, I'll give you an example. Gain HaGadol, Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, Shmir Shabbos Kilchasa, Berkhoff, Halacha Chavtes, or Ha'ara Chavtes. He says, what about a Shabbos Veda? I see on the floor, there's the hammer, and there comes the band of angry looters. And they're running down the street, they're going right for his hammer. Right? They're going right for his hammer, or they're going right for his bike, which he claims is a Kli Shemach L'Yisr, let's say. Okay? Or there are bikes, there could be Kli Shemach L'Yisr, So there definitely could be, right? So they're going right for his bike. And I'm sitting there, and I said, what's about? Come again? Wait, I'm Shragi, I don't have a bike. Right? I don't have a bike. I have an office on wheels. I don't have a bike. It's his bike. I want to do a Shabbos Aveidah. I want to do it as a Klishim Lach L'Yisr. Let's Tzarech Gufay. What's Gufay? Rabbi Akiva Eiger is going to let you give a present, and that's called Gufay. So why can't I do the mitzvah Shabbos Aveidah? Why can't I say it's a Klishim Lach L'Yisr? Let's Tzarech Shabbos Aveidah. Huh? Why not? Why can't I say Klishim Lach Gufay? That's also called Gufay. Sorry? So you know too much. You were Makavin to Shlomo Zalman Auerbach. I would make a kiddush for the Olam. A kiddush. Does he? Talk to me afterward. I'd make a kiddush with Makavin to Shlomo Zalman. Shlomo Zalman says there's a sugya in Bab Metzia of Zaken v'eina lefi kvaydai. And he says that a Zaken v'eina lefi kvaydai teaches us a rule that whatever the Zaken wouldn't do for himself, meaning Zaken or person or Kovid or Rebbe or Tzad or anybody, anything that he wouldn't do for himself because it's not kafi his standard, kafi his person. So then the Torah wasn't mitchayev you to do a Shabbos Aveidah on something that on your own item you would not do. Okay? So for example, if I'm not going to go and move around the garbage underneath the garbage in order to save something for myself, so then I won't have to do it for you. It says Rav Shlomo Zalman Auerbach, something that I can't do for myself, you can't expect me to have to do for somebody else. So therefore, it's a bit of a chiddush to me, I must tell you, because, it's a little bit unfair. I would do it for myself. It's just that on Shabbos, I can't do it for myself because of halacha. We're trying to, it's like one of those type of lumdus, not so simple, but you're a makafin to Shalom Zaman and you're making kiddush for the items. I don't want to take it away, but I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. Some Sefer in the 82nd Tshuva talks about real emes muksa. Let's say I find emes muksa. He wants to dan mitzad if the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda is doiched is to derabanan, like a new cheshbon. I was daning more within the rules of, is it called Sarich Gufa, and we don't have to come on to some super Kayach HaDoicha. Okay, so let me leave you with one thought. Okay, everybody's with me though, we're all clear. You have to build, what? This case is, let's say I find the real evil muksa, like I found $500. Okay, that's emes muksa is machmas Gufa, real muksa. And let's say it's a case of where there's a siman or whatever, and I can do a Hashavas Aveda. Okay, so he has a tzad, you can pick up the money in order to do Hashavas Aveda mamash. Says why? Aside cheshbon. Maybe the mitzvah of Hashavas Aveda is doicha the Issa D'Rabbanan of Muksa, the mitzvah deraisa. So he says not like that. It's a shtickle sugadik. It's like one of these sugadik zachen of when we say a mitzvah stands even b'makom a mitzvah. Well, these type of sugyas I'm saying, but that's a side cheshbon. That's a side cheshbon. It could be that we could throw that in. It's a sirif or whatever. Okay, but I don't know what to tell you. Rabbi, Rabbi says that it's not called tzar guvai. I wouldn't do it for myself. And Shlomo Zalman said the same thing. Okay, let me leave you with it. But everybody's with me. So now I don't want to hear no more violins, but I'm going to be sad the whole Shabbos, and I don't want to hear. Now, how far are we going to take this? What if she says these words? She says, "If there's a hammer in that table, I will not eat in that room. I just can't. I won't eat in that room." Right? She's not singing Kavod Shabbos songs. She's not singing "She's nicht heimish." Yeah, and she's not saying it bothers me and I'm going to see it and think about it the whole time. She's telling me that I'm bullshit. I can't sit in that room. And let's say you married her. She means it. You married the one. And she means it. And she means it. She won't be able to go in there. She won't be able to go there. No. What? Why the person can't have tashmish in the room is because the tefillin is there because it's Shabbos also. So what? That's a Torah Shabbos.
Maybe it's Rosh
Oh. So that's a sugya. I don't know. Is it a graf shalrei or is it, maybe it's a graf shalrei, but do we look at graf shalrei? That we have to learn. Is it graf shalrei? Is it subjective? Is it upheld? We have to figure these things out, right? But maybe we don't have to be as aggressive. Maybe it's a clear. He tells me, Rabbi Chamshi, what do you mean? The Mishnah Berurah, he doesn't like saying things like Klish L'machal Yisr because it's ruining the place. He likes making it into Graf Shalreis. Yeah, but maybe Graf Shalrei has to stink such a bit, Maybe it has to smell. Maybe it has to be, maybe. Boss? Okay, Graf Shalrei. Maybe we have to figure this out. But I don't know. If she says those words, I'm not going in that room. Right? I'm sorry, I have to explain to some of the other. The husband and wife by the Litvaks eat together in the same room. And she'll think, no, because otherwise you say, fine, so I'll eat in that room. You eat in that room. I'll eat in the kitchen. Pumplach, what's enough for me? But my house is guy. So now what? I'm going to have so much fun with you guys. Boss? I have nothing to say. Why? All of a sudden, it's been a tough day. Boss? Every day? Also, maybe that's called tzarech mekayim. Maybe if she says those magic words, even Kallus will agree. No? Rabbi Sher, what do you say? Other Rabbi Sher? Right? What do you say? Maybe it's a fine. She says those words. The makom is ruined. What do you want from me? The makom is ruined. But it's not going to be because she's thinking about it the whole Shabbos. That's not the nekuda. I have to shtel zich to a makom and say this makom is ruined. Right? You understand, Rabbi Geiger? The mokim is ruined. That's different than saying it's not Haimish, it's not Kavod Shabbos. Understand what I'm saying? Okay. Let me give you one thought. Can I leave you one shayla? I like this shayla so much. I'll leave you one shayla. Okay? You want to hear a nice shayla? Is it a nice shayla? Yeah. Oh, I didn't say it. You want to hear a nice shayla? Okay. There's a nice shayla. Remember I spoke about Yenna crayons? Yenna crayon with the baby and doesn't it? Right? So there's a what's it called? A postscript to the story, a sequel, not a sequel. There's an appendix, I think, was it something? There's an afterword, okay? Epilogue, thank you, okay? So I told yesterday at the table, I told them I spoke all about you people with the crayon and dust and everything, a little troublemaker over there. You know, I said, right? So my daughter asked me like this, Murray Dikakasha. You see, she's a pastam l'choch. Like a shmakakasha. Is that guy? No, I mean my wife, right? Like a shmakakasha. She says to me, you know that the crayons, you know, all those crayons, right? You know, the crayons were in the washing sink. We have a washing sink in the house. The crayons are all in the washing sink. Okay? That's what happened, right? And then one of them had fallen on the floor, whatever the story was, right? And it was on the floor over there. And to make a long story, that's how he got it. And that's where he was. He was right over there. Yeah. So the crayons were in the washing sink. Interesting. Crayons in a washing sink. Are you allowed to take the crayons out of the washing sink in order to wash Natil Sidai? Why am I taking the crayons? It's any klishmach l'yisr, but this case was crayons, right? It's any klishmach l'yisr. Why am I taking out? If you don't love this shaila, you are a goy. So you better listen carefully and you better make sure you love this shaila. Okay, that's it. This is the kaveya. This is it. Okay. Why am I taking out the crayons from the sink? I'm taking out the crayons from the sink. Oh, because I need the malkim. No, you're not. You're anti-Semite. You're taking out the crayons because you don't want the crayons to get ruined, right? So maybe why am I moving the crayon? Because I don't want the crayon to get michamal itself. Yeah, but why is it that I want to move the crayon? Why is it that I want to move the crayon? Because I want to move the crayon in order to make sure that they don't get ruined. I need the malkim because I can't wash my hands in this malkim, right? So how do I look at it? Do I look at it that I'm moving it in order to save the crayon's life? Or do I look at it that no, because I won't, the maisa tachlis, I'm not going to wash my hands. So this tachlis, I'm not going to wash my hands. So therefore this malkim is getting gestert, right? Now, you're all going to ask me, but what do you mean? You could use a different sink. Okay, we didn't finish that sugya. That sugya we'll talk about B'nai tomorrow. And not in every case do we say those rules. We'll have to see when and where and why and how, what. But, you know, but let's make it an evil case. It's the only sink. I don't know, whatever. So that we don't get involved in that, child, okay?
Small enough to plug the ring.
What?
Small enough.
No, let's say that's not the issue. It's not the case. In this case, the mamish wasn't the case. It's regular crayons. It's a small little drain, not going down. It's not going to get in there. No, let's say that's not the case. I'd say it's a phone. It's a phone. I don't want to make it into a totally evil phone because then you get involved in chasar and kiss. Like a flip phone is in the sink or whatever. All these things. How do you look at this? Okay, so who says you're allowed to move the crayons? Who says you're not allowed to move the crayons? Right? Who doesn't have an arm? Right? By me, it's pashit, no shaila in the world. No shaila, 100% lishum shaila, no shaila in the world that you're allowed to move the crayon. No shaila. If you said like that, then I think you're right. Right? If you said not like that, but you enjoyed the shaila, then you're a yid. Right? If you didn't enjoy the shaila, you're not invited back here tomorrow. You're not invited back tomorrow because you're not one of us. You have to do a geris l'chumrah. Right? It's definitely geshmak shaila, but there's no shaila. There's no shaila because the word is that lemaisa tachlis geret, I won't use the sink, right? Lemaisa, I won't use the sink, but you can be falpel with it. You can be falpel with the shaila. It's a very interesting shaila. No, is geshmak shaila? You guys on the TV, you like the shaila? Everybody there, you like the shaila? Toby, you like the shaila? Toby, he's such a huge Jew. Look at this guy. Such a Toby. Gewaldig. Is that a shaila? Well, is geshmak? Is the shir over? Because I'm not feeling. Yeah, the shir is over. Okay, you're all free to go. Okay.